So the first thing that I do is I have to take the image. So this is the image that you saw on Rick Hershey's site for the Minotaur. And what I have to do is I have to chop up basically the image into a bunch of different body parts. The whole system that I use is called a skeletal animation system. So, like, if you imagine, a skeleton in a person or this minotaur, they've got their head that's stuck to their neck, and then they've got like a backbone, and you got arms coming off of that, upper arms and lower arms, and the legs and everything like that. So, I have to basically chop up each monster into the various pieces, and then using the skeletal animation system, it puts all the pieces back together, and then I use those pieces, kind of like a little stick figure, and make animations of each monster, for each action that they're going to take, defending, attacking, running, walking, stuff like that. So usually what I start, so right now I'm going to take, I need like the torso for this guy first. So I'm going to just, kind of select the rough area of the torso. I'm going to copy that over to the clipboard. I'm going to paste that into a new image. And here's my torso, and I'm going to go and I'm going to save that as the torso. I'm going to have to come in here and edit this in a little bit. But so now I'm going to come in here and I need the head. So I'm going to select like, around the head, get all the way down there to grab his beard, copy that over. And I'm going to paste that into a new image, and then I'm going to save that. And this is the guy's head. And then I do this for like every different body part. So, if I need the, I need the guy's like upper arm. Well, actually got to come back over here. Actually, sometimes I use the other tool to like select like odd shapes. So I'm going to grab this guy's like upper arm here, and then like that. And then I'm going to paste this into a new image, and I'm going to save this as this is the guy's right upper arm. So, and then what I'm going to have to do is, if go back to the torso, I'm obviously, you can't just put in that because the guy's got, a ton of, you see pieces of his arm, you see pieces of his head and everything like that. So I'm having trouble sizing my thing here. But so I'm going to have to come in here and basically, I just want the torso. So, I'm going to have to kind of cut out everything else that isn't a torso. It kind of reminds me of a joke my mom used to say is like, somebody asks a sculptor, well, how do you make a sculpture of an elephant? And he says, well, you start with a big wood block and then you remove everything that doesn't look like an elephant. So that's my cheesy dad joke just for my kids. So, I'm like kind of just chopping out, all of the everything that isn't the guy's torso. And I mean, this is like really rough right now. I spend quite a bit of time, editing all this stuff. And, for instance, like you can see part of this guy's sword and part of his hand in there. I'm going to have to come in here and basically, come in and like sample some of these colors. And this is where I mentioned I'm not an artist myself, but I do a lot of, like graphics editing. So I'm going to have to come in here, and like kind of copy out all this stuff and everything like that. And it's a pretty long process. It takes me generally about 2 or 3 days to do any individual monster, because it's a lot of graphics editing like this. It'd be great if these came in the original pieces, but so that's all the stuff that I have to do for the game. Okay, I've kind of skipped ahead now. I've edited like all of my images for the Minotaur, and you can see so now the skeletal animation system that I use is based on well, I use a software program called Spriter Pro. It's by Brash Monkey. the sprite again, the skeletal animation system kind of, you set up like a skeleton for your creatures, and then you paste on these different parts, the ones that I edited, and then it allows you to animate or create a bunch of different animations. Um, and then I've got a whole system that it took me a long time to work on in my game that can then take all of this information and animate them like within the game. Now you can imagine a lot of different monsters. Not every monster, is like a upright walking on two legs and two arms. There are a lot of different types of monsters. So I have to create a lot of different animations, kind of skeletons, if you will, for different monsters. If you can imagine, a wolf is very different, from a minotaur. A minotaur stands up and, can swing his arms, and whereas the wolf is on all fours. And then I really had fun doing the beholder, which is a big floating eyeball with like 8 tentacles. That was very interesting. But so now here's for the Minotaur. So here's the process that I go through. So what I have to do is all these pieces that I edited. So here's like his torso, and then I bring that over, and then I need to, let's see, grab his the groin goes next, and these also like. The whole system has a Z order, so I need to move the groin like so it's below the torso, so his belly kind of sticks out like over his torso. And then I'll go ahead and I'll grab his head, and I'll plug that right on there. This guy doesn't really have a neck, because his beard kind of hides it. Some creatures I actually have to have a neck. Then I will grab his right upper arm here and put that in the spot, and then we need his right lower arm. I'll grab that and I'll put that right there, and then we got different variations of the hands. So monsters that have hands, they can be gripping something like a sword or a hammer, or they can have their hand open. In this case, I'm just gonna pop his hand open. The game actually takes care of swapping out the appropriate hand that it needs. So now I'm gonna grab his left upper arm, and again, this needs to be, because if you think about how this guy is oriented, sometimes these pieces need to be behind other pieces. So this left arm really needs to be behind his torso. So his torso will overlay that. And then let's see his left lower arm here. Whenever I get to a lot of the joints, I have to debate, okay, like is his lower arm going to be in front of the upper arm? And many times it just depends on the creature, and kind of the way they're designed originally, by the original artist here.